Hello, my name is Joe Tucker, and today I'm here because a friend of mine in Europe asked me to do a little video on the finer points of American rotation. They're going to be having some tournaments there, which I'm happy to hear about, and I'm happy to do this video for them. And while I have you here, because this is mainly intended for players overseas, Europe, Asia, I'd like to talk about a few other finer points of pocket billiards, because I believe that Asia and Europe, you're kind of like our best hope to shape the future of pocket billiards. Here in America, we're pretty set in our ways. Everything's kind of segregated. There's not enough unity. There's not enough direction. And I believe the players in Europe and Asia can make a significant difference in the future. And I hope they take American rotation along for the journey. With the 15-ball rotation, I want you to know we didn't just want to invent a new game. There's different reasons that this game came about. And one reason is because I'm an instructor and I love to see improvement. And 15-ball rotation demands that you get better. Simply by playing it, you're going to get better. We've all seen how it worked for our Filipino players. A lot of them grew up playing 15-ball rotation for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, I don't know. And then they come to the States and we're playing 9-ball. So that, combined with their great attitude, while they compete, we can see clearly why they set the bar so high. A lot of players are catching up, but they did set the bar. So 15-ball rotation to improve your game. One of the best games that I ever played in was years ago. We used to have a Wednesday night tournament that got over around midnight, 1 a.m. And we'd all go back to our house and we'd play 15-ball rotation ring game. 4, 5, 6 people, and you got paid for every ball. And it was great. We started off cheap, and then throughout the night the bet raised. And the game might end at 8 in the morning, might end at noon the next day, but it was some of the most fun I ever had playing, and it helped me improve a great deal. So the 15-ball rotation, another reason why we play it is some of the flaws in the other games, or some of the things that people didn't like, or some things that I observed. And one of the rules in American rotation is alternating the break, and the breaking player racks their own, they break, and no matter what happens, they always start with ball in hand. Now, we originally did that just to create equal opportunity. We didn't want players walking away, saying, I never got a shot, never made a ball in the break, you got so lucky. But a big benefit is we've reduced the amount of animosity or arguing between players. If you go to any 8-ball, 9-ball, or 10-ball tournament, 90% of your arguments are going to start during the racking portion of the match. One player thinks they got a bad rack or they got unlucky. It's where all the arguing starts. So we don't have that. We haven't had a racking argument in 2 years. So a little side benefit is the players are getting along a little better. And in the long run, that's very important. I personally don't think pool players get along good enough. It's a very individualistic sport. I understand that. But so are a lot of other sports, but they treat each other with respect. You can hate them while you're playing, but you can still treat them with respect. So 15-ball American rotation is helping the players get along a little better while we're improving their game. So those are just a couple of very important reasons of why American rotation the way it is. Now how, there's a lot of videos out there on how. Okay, you can go to the AmericanBilliardClub.com website. Best way to learn is just watch some matches. We have some videos there absolutely free. Watch some matches. I generally do a lot of the commentary for the final matches, so I try to touch on the formats and the rules. as we go along with that. And another reason for the rotation is the segregation. We have a lot of straight pool or 14.1 players and one pocket players that simply hate rotation. Or they'll talk bad about rotation games with a lot of the luck factor. Well, the good news is a lot of the one pocket and straight pool players are liking this form of rotation. You know, we've taken some of the luck out. Our goal is not to eliminate all the luck in pool, but it is a call shot, call safe game, and you get paid for every ball. And I think the one pocket players and the straight pool players can really relate to that. They enjoy that. But we're not here to replace all the other games. All the other pool games in general that we play, 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball, straight pool, one pocket, they're all great games. You know, I think this form of 15 ball rotation takes a little bit of everything and puts it together. Alright, so quickly I'll go over how we play. Okay, there is, like I said, alternating break. There is a racking order. Okay, all you have to worry about is the 15, the 2, 3 that can go on either side. The 1 goes in the middle, normally where the 8 ball would go. And behind the 1 is the 13, 14. Can go either way. So you have those 6 balls. That's mandatory. The rest of the balls you can put in any order you like. It's rack your own. You want to do a little pattern racking, that's fine. It's up to each player. So rack your own, break, and then no matter what happens, you're going to start with ball in hand. Now originally, everybody's break ball in hand, they thought it was a joke. But I can tell you, it's been 2 years now since the game's been out, and I don't think I've heard that comment for the last year or so. Everybody's realizing that the ball in hand takes some luck out of the game, prevents a lot of arguing, gets both players to the table, and even with the ball in hand, if you run a rack of 15 ball rotation, you've done something. And your opponent knows it was 99% skill, and they have the same opportunity to do that. So the ball in hand is no joke, and yes, even if you scratch on the break, you're still going to get ball in hand. The only penalty is if you make some balls on the break. I made the 5 and the 12, that's 3 points. My opponent would get those points, and I would still start the rack with ball in hand. Talk about the scoring real quick. I said 3 points because balls 1 through 10 are worth 1 point each. 11 to 15 are worth 2 points each. So there's 20 points every rack. A lot of you might be thinking, or you'll hear other players say, why not 1 point for every ball? I tried it that way. I tried it with 2 points for balls 1 through 5, 6 through 10. And the reason that the last 5 balls are worth 2 points each is for pressure. Other games have it, 8 ball and 9 ball in particular. What makes 9 ball great is the pressure. You get down to the last 3 balls, the 9 ball, and that's the pressure part. And that's really a good thing about 9 ball. Same thing with 8 ball. We all know at a decent level, the most fun is the pressure pack part of 8 ball. When you decide to go for the run out in 8 ball, you better get all the way out, right? You don't want to run 3, 4, 5, 6 balls and not get out. So that has a lot of pressure. With the 2 points for the last 5 balls, there's added pressure. I don't think as much as 9 ball, but there's added pressure. If I have 1 through 10 and I miss the 11 ball and you get out, it's 10-10 instead of 20-0. And when players get used to that pain, the pressure will increase. So that's the reason. I did try at 1 point for every ball. So every rack is worth 20 points, and you can race to whatever you like. Typically here, a weekly match, we race to 140 points in the American Billiard Club and the American Rotation National Series, which I'd like to talk to you about that too. There's no reason we can't get some groups from overseas. It only takes 10 players to get together. You qualify one, you come to our national event. We'll give you the expense money, free entry, and hopefully we'll get a lot of players that might not have the opportunity to come to maybe the US Open or the BCA Nationals in Vegas. and most of them like to come to Derby City. You know, a lot of overseas players haven't experienced that. Practice your one pocket. Highly recommend that you learn one pocket along with American rotation, because one pocket, it also demands a lot of skill. It's probably the most creative game with all around skills. So we'll talk about getting a group of 10 players together anywhere in the world, and whoever wins the series can come to one of our national championships. Back to the scoring. We typically play our weekly matches race to 140 points, but you can play a race to anything. You can play a race to 20, 40. They're going to do the tournament in Amsterdam. I think it's already set up, so I don't want to mess with the format, but I can tell you a good format for a 1 or 2 day tournament with American rotation is like we do our national events. When we do our national events, if I get 30 players qualified, we'll do a round-robin draw with all 30 players in that draw. We won't play 29 matches. We'll just play the first 4 rounds of that round-robin. So everybody that comes to the national plays at least 4 matches, which is much better than traveling across the country or the world to play a double elimination. And at the end of 4 rounds, we'll cut the field in half, or we'll take the top 25% and we'll move them into a single elimination bracket. Now, if you wanted to run a 1 day tournament, say a Saturday, and you have 16 tables to work with, well, you limit the field to 32 players and do the round-robin draw. Everybody plays 4 matches, and then you can cut the field in half. The round-robin draw, you could play, if you're doing a 1 day tournament, if you did races to 40 or 60, and you allow an hour for each round, that's only 4 hours. Even if you allow 90 minutes, 6 hours. Okay, so now you're playing from maybe 11 in the morning to 5, and then you're down to the single elimination part. You can take the top 8 or the top 16. Doesn't matter, because it's just 4 more rounds or 3 more rounds, and you can make the races a little bit longer, maybe each round. If you played the daily tournament race to 60, maybe the single elimination first round could be 60 also, and then 80, and then 100. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. But that keeps everybody in the tournament. Everybody gets a lot of bang for their buck. And we'll talk more about tournament formats after the break. Okay, break, ball in hand. After that, it's a call shot, call safety game, which means you have to call a ball and a pocket. And if you miss, your opponent has the option to take the table or have you shoot again. It's really that simple. If you miss and you luck a ball, if I call a 5 here but I make it here, the opponent has the option to take the table and the points for the 5, or pass the shot back to you and the points for the 5, pass that back to you too. So they have a choice there. With the call safety, you can't call safe and pocket a ball. If you do, that's just like a miss. Meaning, maybe I was here and I tried to play safe on the 4 ball, but I make it inside. And I hook you over here. That's what happened. I called safe on the 4, 2 wouldn't be there, and I stuck you here, but I accidentally made the 4. That's just like a miss. So now you have the option. Pass this shot back to me, I get credit for the 4. Or you take the table from here, and you get credit for the 4, and you shoot. You know, maybe the 6 ball was right here. You know, I played safe, 4 ball went in. You can take the 4 and the 6 and the shot. So that's the call shot, call safe part of the show. Like I said, watch a match. You know, nobody wants to read 3 pages of rules. And why we have so many pages of rules, because we pretty much want to cover all the situations of pocket billiards in general. There's only a few different rules here in American rotation, but we have to cover everything. 3 foul rule. There is a 3 foul rule, and thank God we have it, because without it, couldn't play the game. Give you a little example. All right, what happens? Like in 15-ball rotation, a lot of times, if you don't have this rule, well, what do you have it? It pays to tie up balls. If you're in a tough spot and you don't think you can kick at the ball and make a hit, sometimes you want to tie up balls. So it might come up more often. If you get your opponent on 3 fouls, you are rewarded with 2 ball in hands. The first one we call a free shot, which means you can hit any ball on the table. You know, if it was like this, maybe the one's tied up. You could pocket the 15 and maybe break that up. You can hit any ball on the table. It's a free shot, and it doesn't matter if you scratch. Okay, you can't do anything unsportsmanlike, like an illegal stroke. You know, you can't be pushing through the ball. Okay, but it is a free shot. And then the second one is a traditional ball in hand. Now you have to hit the lowest number of ball on the table. So what the free shot does, it just totally solves the problem of the 3 fouls. And it's great. A benefit I didn't realize when I came up with it was like in 9-ball tournaments, it's so motivating to try to get your opponent on 3 fouls. I've witnessed handicap tournaments where the better player never goes for the run out. They're always trying to 3 foul the player on the 1 ball. So in American Rotate, it's not that motivating to get somebody on 3 because, yeah, you get 2 ball in hands, but you don't win the whole game. So it solves the problem. You know, if I came to the table, I could break those out, solves the problem of the clusters, and then I start running in a traditional manner. So it's a really good rule, and I think I stole it from like English 8-ball or something, but I think they carry it over. We don't carry it over. Free shot is their first shot. Alright, so no jump cues, and you should practice your jump shots. Fouls, when it comes to fouls, we don't play all ball fouls, but we do play, if you move a ball, maybe I'm like this. If you move a ball during the course of a shot. Now that doesn't mean when you set up. You know, when you set up, it's cue ball fouls only. If I go to set up and I move that, well, my opponent can move it back or leave it there. But if you move it during the course of a shot, like this, and I move that, that's an automatic foul. Now, what is during a shot? It's any time that you go forward to strike the cue ball and you leave the table. If I shoot the shot, I go like that, and I go like that, that's during the course of a shot. So that's a foul. We'd like to play all ball fouls, but you can't have a referee at every table. And sometimes, you know, if you're bending over a shot, the player's sitting over there, they think you're touching the ball, but you're not. You know, you don't know you touch the ball. A lot of arguments start that way. And that's the reason that people don't play all ball fouls without a referee. So during the course of a shot, that would be the foul. If you're placing the cue ball, if you got ball in hand after the break, don't be so nonchalant, okay? I've seen players pick it up, they're going to put it down, and they hit a ball. When you have ball in hand and you touch something, it's going to be a foul. And that's really severe. If it's your break and it's your ball in hand, it's really severe. That's enough on the rules part. You know, a little bit on the strategy, how I was just talking about when it's your break. Very important, and this is obvious, but stay in control. Sometimes you have to play safe on the one and make it a tight safety. You have to stay in control for as long as you possibly can. Obviously, don't leave the table on a silly error. You know, we're all going to make errors, you know, but don't make any mental errors and leave the table and lose your control. That's a big part of American rotation. It's like holding serve in tennis, you know. It's your break, and you don't have to run all the balls to stay in control. Play some tight safeties, make some good choices. All right, I think that's the finer points of American rotation. I'm happy that you're playing it. I know a lot of times people are resistant to new things. This isn't that new, you know. 15-ball rotation's been around for a long time. We've revived it. I think we've improved some of the rules on it. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. I know the benefits. We have a lot of lower level players that are hopping in. We're not offering handicaps in our national play, but a lot of lower level players are getting in anyways because it helps them. They've told me, it's helped me so much in my team or my weekly 8-ball league or 9-ball tournaments. And it's a bargain for them. They get to play with better players for a relatively low entry fee each week, and it's good practice and good training. And please contact me if you'd like to form a group of 10 players, no matter where you are in the world. Contact me. Your 10 players will play a 9-week round robin, followed with the top 6 playing a playoff, and whoever wins can come to our national event. We don't allow people to buy their way in. You have to qualify. That's the only way to get there. And we give you you earn expense money and free entry into the tournament. So please consider trying it out. Just one session. It only takes 10 weeks.